Hello and welcome to the support video. I'm Chito from the IDLE team and I'm here to share with you how to configure IDLE Universal Viewing. IDLE Server integrates unstructured, semi-structured, and structured information from multiple repositories through an understanding of the content. It delivers a real-time environment to automate operations across applications and content, removing all the manual processes involved in getting information to the right people at the right time. These are the functionalities of View on idle server, and we can perform the following intelligent operations across all the data. Inquire like search your data, investigate like analyze your data, interact like personalize your data, improve like enhance your data. During these operations, you might need to view documents. But how do we do that? And that is where we can use view component of idle. These are the core components of idle server for text processing. View component allows you to view documents in a web browser. The view component uses idle key view to extract the contents of files with various different formats and convert it into an HTML output. You can use the reference of a search result to find the original document and convert it into a preview. It rewrites links to other pages and separate files, such as images, so that all requests for subfiles return to the view component. You can also apply templates to the output. This component allows you to generate preview of documents to display in a search user interface. View can also return the original document. To convert documents, View must have access to the file that you want to view, and there are several ways to do this. First, view directly from the repository. Second, view from an extracted files directory. And the third one is view through connectors. The fourth one, view with distributed connector. And the last one is universal viewing. Each method has advantage and disadvantage. On this video, let's focus on universal viewing because we can use a combination of viewing options, and View automatically determines where to retrieve the documents from. This means it has the advantage on the other viewing methods and mitigates many of the disadvantages. But the configuration is relatively complicated with several different options and reference fields. This is the reason why we selected universal viewing for this video knowledge. Before configuring universal viewing, it also needs to use distributed connector. So let's take steps to configure View with distributed connector. Distributed connector is a central connector that manages operations across the connectors that retrieve documents from the repositories. The connectors each have access to the document source repository for indexing, so you can use this access for viewing as well. This method simplifies authentication and retrieval for your repositories and does not require a secondary store of documents for the idle view component. Documents must have a reference field that connectors can recognize. So OpenText recommends to use the AUTN underscore identifier field. On the content component, you can configure AUTN underscore identifier field as a reference type field like this. On connectors, we need to set the following. Enable view server equals false. This is to disable view server in connectors and to use view component instead. Enable extraction equals true. This is to enable the extraction of subfiles. Register connector equals true so that the connector will be registered by the distributed connector. Connector group parameter must have a unique value for each connector. On view component, these parameters need to be set to communicate with distributed connector. Distributed connector host is for the host of the distributed connector. Distributed connector port is the port of the distributed connector. This slide shows the output of list connectors action. 3 connectors are running and registered on the distributed connector in this case: Web connector, File System connector, SharePoint OData connector. Distributed connector sends get status action to each of the registered connectors at regular intervals to determine their availability. Please make sure that the registered connectors can receive it by checking their authorization rules client's configuration parameter. Now the configuration has been done for the method of view with distributed connector. To enable universal viewing, you need to add universal viewing section to view configuration file like this. Set document store host and document store port to the host and port of your primary data index component, either the content component or DEH. View server uses this component to retrieve the index representation of your documents to find the appropriate reference fields. Distributed connector reference field, file system reference field, and web URL field. In this case, only distributed connector reference field is configured as an example. This is a reference field used to access documents through the distributed connector and generally an AUTN identifier. For more details about universal viewing, please refer to this documentation. Thank you for watching.